Welcome to the deep dive. We grab a whole stack of sources, pull out the really key stuff, and, well, basically cut through the noise so you get informed fast. Today, we're digging into a piece of machinery. Now, at first glance, it might seem really specific, the Sullair ShopTek ST400 air compressor. But don't let that name fool you. Our sources are actually painting this as more than just another tool. They're talking about it like it's a pretty big step forward, maybe even something that could reshape how smaller workshops, industrial spaces, manage their compressed air. So our mission here is to unpack exactly why this particular unit is getting highlighted. Why is it seen as so vital for efficiency and keeping costs down? Okay, let's get into it and see what makes this thing such a talked about solution.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? How often something that seems pretty foundational, like an air compressor, can actually be, the hidden key to a business's success, or at least a big part of its operational excellence. For anyone in heavy industry, getting these tools right, it's just crucial for efficiency, for growth.
That's a really great point. And looking at the ST400, the first thing our sources jump on is the price. It seems to sit somewhere between, $6,500 and maybe $10,200. That feels like quite a range for one model. So how does Sullair manage to deliver, solid performance across that whole spectrum, especially at the lower end? Are we talking trade-offs here, or is it genuinely about maximizing value somehow?
That's a really important question. And the sources suggest it's less about being cheap and more about optimizing the long-term value. Solaire calls it cost-effective excellence. So the idea is, okay, the initial price might be a bit higher than some rock-bottom entry models, but because it's designed for efficiency, for durability, the payback period could actually be pretty quick, maybe 18 to 24 months. Through things like lower energy bills and less maintenance, it's positioned more as a smart investment, not just a budget buy.
Okay, so it's really that total cost of ownership angle, not just the upfront price tag.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And speaking of value, here's something our sources really hammer home, especially for workshops where space is tight. It's compact design.
Oh, absolutely. And that's not just like a nice little feature. It's tackling a really common, often frustrating pain point. These industrial places where every square foot matters. The sources talk about how it's designed, and maybe it's got integrated parts or vertically stacked components. Something clever in the engineering lets it basically fit anywhere without a hitch and run smoothly. Think about businesses that used to have to block off significant, expensive floor space for these big old clunky compressors, maybe even alter the building. This kind of compact design promises that high-end performance without needing all that space. It frees up room, valuable room for actually producing things.
Yeah, that's a concrete benefit right there.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. The sources keep calling the ST400 things like crafted by industry leaders and a rock-solid investment.
Yep.
No, for anyone in heavy industry, reliability is just everything. Downtime is just not an option, right? So what actually makes it durable? Are there specific parts or build qualities mentioned?
You're totally right. Durability is absolutely foundational. The material points to its robust construction. We're talking industrial-grade components and a heavy-duty air end that's really the heart of the compressor. This focus on using premium, tough parts, it directly leads to a longer operational life and makes it less likely to fail in the ways that, less durable units might. It's built to basically run continuously in tough environments, minimizing those unexpected breakdowns and the, frankly, costly chaos that follows when production stops.
Right, avoiding that ripple effect. And beyond just being tough, it's also optimized for energy efficiency. For a business owner, that's not just about being environmentally friendly, it's the bottom line. Are the savings real? Like enough to actually notice? Or is it more marginal?
Oh, this is where those long-term cost benefits really kick in, according to the sources. They highlight advanced motor controls. Probably something like a variable speed drive or maybe sophisticated start-stop logic, which basically means the compressor only draws the power it actually needs for the air demand at that specific moment. Unlike older fixed-speed models that just run full blast all the time, even if you only need a little air. This smart management, it can lead to really significant cuts in the electricity bill. We could be talking, 15%, maybe up to 30% less energy use? Over the life of the machine, that adds up to some serious operational savings. And yeah, it helps with the greener footprint too.
15 to 30%, wow, that's definitely not marginal, that's substantial. Okay, another thing they highlight is quiet operation, noise reduction technology. So practically speaking, what does a quieter shop floor actually mean for the people working there? Beyond just, being less annoying.
Well, a quieter environment actually has pretty deep effects, both on safety and on productivity. The sources suggest the ST400 runs at much lower decibel levels than, say, traditional industrial compressors. Think more like A normal conversation level, not a roaring engine, so that reduces worker fatigue. It makes it easier for people to communicate on the floor, and it cuts down the risk of long-term hearing damage. It just creates a more focused, less distracting place to work, and that can directly lead to fewer mistakes, better morale, better overall efficiency, really. It's a subtle thing, maybe, but it improves the whole work atmosphere.
Improves focus, reduces fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that translates to productivity.
Okay, and the last point our sources really emphasized was the user-friendly design. Easy access to parts for maintenance. For anyone managing operations, maintenance can be a huge time sink. So what are the real practical benefits of this maintenance made easy approach? Yeah, this is all about minimizing disruption and making the technician's job, well, easier and faster. The materials point to thoughtful design. Things like filters you can get to easily, clear diagnostic lights or readouts, maybe even modular parts you can swap out quickly. All this just cuts down the time and the hassle involved in routine upkeep, which means less time the machine is offline and lower labor costs for maintenance. It lets the maintenance teams, whether they're internal or external, focus more on preventing problems rather than just reacting to them. So the business can actually focus on, its main job, driving the business forward, not constantly juggling equipment issues.
Okay, so let's just recap this deep dive on the Sullair ShopTek ST400. What we've really seen is it's positioned as a strategic bit of kit designed to boost productivity, cut those long-term costs quite significantly through efficiency and just being built to last, and also lessen the environmental impact. It really does sound like a strong alignment of operational money and green benefits.
Yeah.
Kind of a win-win-win.
Exactly. And if you pull back and look at the bigger picture, it really brings up an important question for pretty much any business, doesn't it? How making strategic choices about your equipment, even stuff that seems pretty basic, like an air compressor, how that can fundamentally change your whole industrial setup. It's really about thinking beyond just the machine itself, how it impacts the entire system, the whole operation.
Precisely. And the sources we looked at today, like PE Energy, they position themselves almost as partners in getting to that operational excellence. They talk about offering a curated selection of this kind of top-tier equipment, specifically to help businesses like yours hit those goals. And while today we really zeroed in on the ST400, it's probably worth mentioning that Sullair's ShopTek line doesn't just this one model. They also have things like the ST1500 and ST3700. So it suggests there's a range of options there for different scales, different demands. So for you listening, here's something to maybe mull over after this deep dive. A final thought. What parts of your current operation, maybe looking specifically at the infrastructure you already have, might be ready for a transformation? Could reevaluating some of that equipment you rely on every day, even the stuff that seems kind of ordinary, unlock similar opportunities? Opportunities for better efficiency, for growth, maybe even a significant boost to your bottom line. Worth thinking about.